This week, Rhoda meets her new boss.
You gotta be the rudest person I ever met.
You never met my wife.
I would be afraid to meet the woman who married you.
I would too. She died 10 years ago.
And two girls face naked truth in advertising in the premiere of On Our Own. New comedy right after Rhoda. Sunday Funny starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents live coverage of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, the third leg of the Fall Triple Crown. Highlights of the highly acclaimed Junichi Cup with three-time Olympic gold medalist Nadia Comaneci of Romania competing. And the world's strongest men competition featuring the wrist roll. That's next Saturday at 4:30.
Miami has just scored again. They lead Baltimore 14-7 for O.J. Simpson, 76 yards rushing in the first half. Let's take you around the league. Of course, the game that you are watching, Philadelphia was ahead 21-0. Then on that pass from Pisarcik to Robinson, the Giants came back. The New York Jets and Buffalo at halftime, they are tied at 7. Buffalo scored in the first quarter, and Simpson rushed for 70 of those yards in that first quarter. Oakland and Cleveland. Oakland with 3 field goals, but credit the Cleveland defense. They've been putting a lot of pressure on Ken Stabler. We've been monitoring that game. At the half, it is 9-3 now. Oakland ahead. New England not having any trouble with Seattle. They lead at the half by a score of 14-0. And I just got an update on this game. Minnesota has just struck again. Fran Tarkenton has thrown his second touchdown pass. So they lead 13-0, and we'll tell you about the extra point here. The scoreboard already has it. I'm not sure that they've kicked it. If they have, it's 14-0. I do not believe they have attempted it yet. Now it is Cincinnati and Green Bay. It is scoreless. That game is in the first quarter. The wildest of wild games today. Lydell Mitchell scored on the first offensive play of the game for Baltimore, 65 yards from scrimmage. Solomon returned the kickoff for a touchdown. So with 41 seconds gone, both teams scored. The Dolphins then scored again. They lead at 14-7. Minnesota just kicked the extra point. It is now 14-0. Pittsburgh and Houston scoreless. A bit of a surprise. Steelers always play tough in Houston. San Diego scored on an 88-yard punt return. Now, Rodgers is not playing today because of a pulled hamstring. Fuller stepped in there, and he did the job. So we have got a lot of action going on. And speaking of action, Phyllis George, a friend of ours, Dan Jenkins, wrote the book Semi-Tough a few years ago, and they tell me they're making a movie now with Burt Reynolds and Chris Christopherson.
The movie has been completed. I went down to New Orleans to talk with Chris and Burt. Of course, Chris played for Pomona College. He played an end. Burt played for Florida State. He played halfback, and they play those roles in this movie. They're characters, I tell you.
Did Burt Reynolds tell you in this interview that he once was a halfback down at Florida State? I think it was still a girls' school then, but we'll check in on the interview.
Well, I'm sitting with Burt Reynolds and Chris Christopherson. And Burt, you're used to doing physical parts, and you've been a stuntman in the past. But Chris, what about you? Is this the most difficult role you've played physically?
I felt like I was in real good shape. I'd been working out on the beach and everything, and I was healthy. And Burt was feeling real poorly, and I think he had injured his shoulder and everything, was underweight. By the end of the film, I had a broken finger, 2 broken ribs, two Charlie horses, a torn hamstring, and a broken toe. Burt was gaining 30 pounds. He looked like Charles Atlas, man. That was my point of view of it. It was a lot harder than it looks like when you're sitting there on Sunday watching Biletnikoff catch the passes.
I know that football fans that are watching this want to know if you all take the time from your busy, glamorous schedules to sit down on a Sunday afternoon or Monday night and watch a football game.
Well, I don't know about Chris, but I have food shoved under the door. I mean, I live for football season. And needless to say, I've watched you and your 2 Musketeers with you.
The Mod Squad.
Yeah, the Mod Squad. That's a much bigger thrill for me to meet somebody like you, or a football player, or a baseball player, a basketball player, than it ever would be to meet an actor. I remember when I was under contract to Universal back in 1959, I was 11 at the time, and I took Wally Moon out there to Universal, and he was, if anybody doesn't remember, was a great baseball player for the Dodgers. And I was treated so good by all the executives. I was never treated that good before or since, actually, because I was with Wally Moon. Since that time, I've tried to bring a jock with me everywhere I go. They don't like
a real
the
live one, not an actor.
No, Chris means nothing at the studio.
And wrapping up, do you want to say anything else about Semi-Tough, the film? I mean, other than you want everybody to come see it?
Yeah, I want to tell my old football coach that I finally learned how to catch a pass.
Wonderful.
At the expense of a lot of people's patience, but it was a thrill for an old man to do that. And it's the only way a slow little end could get into the Super Bowl.
Is that funny? They really are. Semi-Tough, of course, Dan Jenkins wrote it, produced by David Merrick, and they have a good time in the film.
I think Reynolds also was drafted by the Baltimore Colts, so I'm going to have to check on that tomorrow. But we've got Jimmy the Greek coming along. He's going to tell us about tonight's baseball playoff between the Yankees and the Kansas City Royals as the NFL Today continues on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
Logan's Run moves to Mondays at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time, starting tomorrow on CBS.
Ron Guidry and Paul Splittorff for the American League Championship tonight in Kansas City. And Jimmy the Greek, what about your magic pencil? What kind of a number do you come up for?
Well, Kansas City has to be a slight favorite because their pitching staff is just a little bit more rested. But let's face it, there's no tomorrow, so everybody's going to be in the bullpen.
I've heard that before, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know that. But everybody's going in there and pitch for as long as they can, as best as they can, and I'm sure that Billy will pull them quickly, and so will the other manager. It's going to be a toss-up game, as we said right before. Kansas City's at home.
A pick'em game then tonight.
I know, but Kansas City's at home.
Slight edge to the home team.
That's it.
Irv, show us some football plays.
All right, let's get into football, Ben. Of course, the Philadelphia Eagles lead the New York Giants. The Giants get in by a score of 21-7 at halftime on the strength of a couple of first half touchdown passes by Ron Jaworski. And here's the first one right here. He goes to Keith Krepley. Keith, number 84, latches onto the ball and goes 55 yards for a touchdown, and the Eagles take an early 7-0 lead. Jaworski likes the airwaves. This time he goes to Charlie Homeboy Smith. On a screen to the outside, Charlie legs it in. Another touchdown for the Eagles, and they lead 14-0. Zarczyk tries to get back quick, but through the airwaves as well. His ball is picked off by John Sanders. Sanders, by the way, had 2 interceptions the first half. He goes down near the 19-yard line, setting up another running opportunity for the Eagles to put the ball in the end zone. They do it with a Herb Lust touchdown, which is questioned by the Giant defense, but nonetheless, the Eagles got it and go ahead 21-0. Zarczyk comes back to Jimmy Robinson on a long heave here. He goes the distance. Robinson latches onto the ball and legs it into the end zone. An 80-yard touchdown. The Giants are in the ballgame 21-7 at halftime.
Irv, Baltimore just kicked a field goal. They trail Miami in the first quarter 14-10. Minnesota and Detroit. They are tied for the lead in the NFC Central, and Fran Tarkenton came out throwing against the Lions. Ahmad Rashad, who has not been too busy in the Vikings scheme of things, catches this 37-yard gain from Tarkenton, and he gets down to the Lions' 13-yard line. Now Tarkenton goes 12 yards, touchdown pass. Sammy White, the Vikes move 72 yards in 9 plays for the score. Here's their second touchdown. Razzle dazzle. Tarkenton again wants Rashad. Now watch what happens to Rashad. Laterals it there to Sammy White on the sideline, and he runs it in for the touchdown. And Fred Cox, appearing in his 200th game, kicks the extra point. It is now 14-0. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
My father had a Craftsman wrench. It broke. I brought it back to Sears. They gave me a new one. No questions asked, no hassle whatsoever.
We're at a Sears store to find out why Sears is where America shops.
They're more concerned about you than they are about themselves.
I needed an amplifier, which I knew nothing about amplifiers. The salesman was very courteous. In fact, he helped me very much because I've got a great buy.
Sears, where America shops.
From the people who brought you die-hard batteries, road handler tires, and steady rider shock absorbers comes the Sears Muzzler. The aluminized muffler that's only $19.99 installed. It's so tough, Sears promises the Muzzler will last as long as you own your American-made car. Or return it for refund or replacement free. And if Sears installed it, they'll install the new one free. The Muzzler, only $19.99 installed. Only at Sears.
This is my team, and this is the new Giants Stadium in the Meadowlands. Hello, I'm Brad Van Pelt. New York's so big that it's hard to even begin to tell you about it. I could start here with a skyline like no other in the world. But let me show you a special part of the New York scene. It's the feeling you get when you're jogging in Central Park, walking up Fifth Avenue, riding the subway, or looking back on the city from the George Washington Bridge. The feeling that here, in what may be the greatest experiment of people living together, there is the greatest need for human friendship. That's why the United Way volunteers are so important. They work for the visiting nurses, Girl Scouts, Salvation Army, and many other agencies funded by the United Way. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut wouldn't be the same without them. On behalf of the volunteers and the Tri-State United Way, we'd like to say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. The National Football League action is at Giant Stadium right now. I'm Pat Summerall again with Tom Brookshire. The Eagles, 21-7, pretty much dominated the line of scrimmage in the first halftime.
Yeah, I think we have to decide which team is really Sanforized if there's going to be any shrinkage. A lot of rain here, which caused some problems for the Giants, but they have decided to go with rookie quarterbacks. And when you do that, I think you give up a lot of offensive possibilities early. And whether or not the big touchdown pass turned them on, we're going to find out. I do know that Vermeil and the Eagles feel like there's no shortcut to success. They work their tails off, and they plan to play 4 quarters. And if the Giants beat them, they got to come out and do it.
A lot of times the subject of playing in the rain, playing football in the rain, comes up. When you were playing with the Eagles and I was playing with the Giants, we were playing, of course, on natural turf. This is artificial turf.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the advantage, the receiver?
The offense.
The offense has the advantage?
Well, I always felt that way, but I really liked rain because there's something about the anti-element that brings out the best in a savage beast, so to speak. And if if you're miserable and unhappy, that's the way you should be to play pro football. It's not an easy way.
Are you saying you were a savage beast?
I tried to be.
Let's go down to see what's happening on the field right now. The Eagles have come back on the field, and so have the Giants on the far side. There is Ron Jaworski, the quarterback, who had such an outstanding first half, despite those adverse rainy conditions that we were just talking about a minute ago. A happy man in Philadelphia. Loves the city, loves the team, loves the coach. What else?
Well, you remember the drill that we talked about with the Rams one time?
do,
Of all
yeah.
places? Chuck Knox has a drill at the end of each practice on Saturday, no matter where he's playing, where they put the balls down into buckets of water and then practice for a few minutes running plays with a wet football. And it sounded so weird we laughed at the time, but it's not too dumb, is it?
Stat situation, the Eagles ran 34 plays, the Giants 31. The total yards, not that much different, but the score is much different. The upper deck here at Giant Stadium now, which is really exposed to the rain, has not too many people left.
But you know, Pat, this is really a good football stadium.
It is.
It is built for football, and while it's not a Franklin Field or an old Yankee Stadium in that feeling, it is a football stadium, and it is fun to do games here, and I would assume it's a heck of a lot of fun to play here. You feel like the people are right on top of you here.
Well, of course, they had a soccer game here yesterday. The Cosmos played a team from China. That wound up 1-1. They had a good crowd for that, including Pele as a spectator.
Red China came in here?
Right. Here is Horst Muhlmann ready to kick off in the rain. Giant Stadium. Bobby Hammond and Gordon Bell back deep for the Giants, but they won't get it. This is Coder. And Coder gets popped pretty good. Again, it's Wilbert Montgomery. He's made about 4 tackles on kickoffs.
Ran back a 90-yarder against Pittsburgh in preseason play, too.
There's an Eagle player shaken. Down on the wet rug.
There was some contact made, and I don't think you touch Coder unless you get hurt. And
in the event you might have joined us late, it is the Philadelphia Eagles 21, the Giants 7. And we have just begun period number 3.
Introducing the Ford in your future, the new Ford Fairmont wagon. A new wagon designed for today and the years ahead. The Fairmont wagon has excellent mileage ratings, but while it is trim and lean outside, Fairmont has almost 90% of the passenger space of most large wagons, and with the seat down can swallow up all this cargo. Yet for all this, the new Fairmont wagon, as shown, is actually sticker price less than this little VW Rabbit. Test drive Fairmont, the newest, better idea from the Wagon Master.
Our house?
Except for the insurance and closing.
Oh, well, what insurance company?
Ah, they're all the same.
Allstate's different.
Different? How?
We give a 10% discount for newer homes.
Oh?
It's a 10% discount.
Now 10% off our rate.
On basic homeowners insurance for houses 5 years old or less.
Allstate's different, all right.
Good hand.
Oh, boy.
When it takes being different to be better, Allstate will do it.
That's a promise from us. They're good hands, people.
Bobby Hammond ran one play that you might have missed the start of. On 1st and 10, he was stopped by John Sanders. Hammond, number 33.
McVay may be going with the speed of Hammond and the smallness even, rather than the big back system, even with Coder, who is more or less a larger type runner. Maybe they think that a missed tackle in the rain could be a long gainer. Not a bad way to approach it.
Hammond got 3. It's 2nd and 7. Ball located at the Giant 38. Larry Zonka is the other running back there with Hammond. And Hammond again gets the call. Hammond squirts through. Maybe got a first down out of about the 45. John Sanders again. He did get a first down. John Sanders, the Eagle tackler. Hammond is from Morgan State. He only weighs 170 pounds. They tried to cut him. They made up their mind to cut him. And every time they tried to, he did something better.
He ran by a lot of Dallas Cowboys a couple of weeks ago, and they're still looking for him, too.
It's a first down at the 45. 1st and 10. Joe Pisarcik still the quarterback. He fakes the Hammond. The protection is good. Intended for Moorhead. A flag is down. John Outlaw back on the coverage along with number 26, John Sanders. But interference is going to be called.
I believe it's underneath the thrown ball. I don't believe it happened early, and I believe it might have been Sanders coming over to help Outlaw, who actually bumped into him. A good fake by Pisarcik here, which I think set it up. There's very little heat on him. Sistrunk finally. And, you know, he throws the long ball extremely well and accurately. There's Sanders tripping more or less, and even if it's an inadvertent trip, that's the yellow flag.
Yellow flag went down. It is called against number 26, John Sanders. First down, Giants at the 13-yard line of Philadelphia. The Eagles lead 21-7.
Hey, a Big Joe can throw that ball long even when it's waterlogged.
Got that sidearm motion that makes it a little bit easier when the ball is wet. He gives this time to Coder. Coder gets inside the 10 to about the 6. John Bunting made the tackle. Coder got good yardage straight ahead.
The Jets 10, Buffalo 7. That's a 34-yard field goal by Pat Leahy. I tell you, the Jets are going to sort of wake people up around here.
Walt Michaels has done a heck of a job rebuilding in a hurry. 5-yard pickup on first down by Coder. It's 2nd and 5. The Giants at the Eagle 7. Coder again. This time nothing doing. Charlie Johnson, the nose guard, sifted through and made the tackle, number 65.
Well, that time Big John Hicks tried to cut Charlie Johnson, the nose man. And Johnson is so quick that he was moving toward the play, and even though Hicks really gave him the leg whip, Johnson went right on through it. It looked to me, though, like the last couple of plays that the Giants on the offensive line are white-knuckling. It looks to me like they're down there banging for the first time maybe in the game.
They lost a yard. Make it 2nd and 6. Or 3rd and 6, I'm sorry. Pisarcik backpedals and fires. Intended for Jimmy Robinson. He had a step on Herman Edwards, but Pisarcik led him a little too much.
Pretty fast count on this, and Zonka and company stuffed the 3-man line on the line of scrimmage. Just overthrown. And I'll tell you one thing about Edwards, the young right cornerback for Vermeil. If you beat him, you have to do it like Moorhead and company did it earlier. You have to catch the TD pass on him. He's not going to let anybody walk around without getting hit.
On 4th down, no field goal. The Giants are going for it on 4th and 6. The ball at the Eagle 8. Zonka and Hammond, the running backs, they drop it. It won't be enough for a first down. It doesn't make any difference who got the football. It'll still belong to the Eagles. The exchange between Ralph Hill and Pisarcik was not executed.
What was wrong with trying to get 3 points? I cannot understand.
They come away with nothing and still trail 21-7.
Schlitz wants you to have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word.
Hey, now's the time to pick up plenty of Schlitz.
Pass the word, pass the word, pass the word.
Because the Schlitz football offer is here. Look for this display at participating stores and save up to $5 on an official Wilson football. Come on.
Pick up Schlitz and have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word, pass the Schlitz.
Should have bought Mobile One. The wireless saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile One. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile One. You only change it every 15,000 miles.
Mobile One, the oil that does it all. Take it from an expert.
Logan's Run, the ultimate trip. Now on a new night and a new time. Monday starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Giants fumble the exchange from center on 4th down. We wonder why they didn't go for a field goal. Hogan comes right straight ahead and runs into Harry Carson. Gets outside the 10, got a couple. Mike Hogan.
He won't say 2 words all year, but if he says them, it's not his own name. You know what I mean? He's a very unselfish kid. He really is.
6'2" and 215 is Mike Hogan. He got 4. Make it 2nd and 6 at the 13. Hogan and Lusk. Setbacks, and this will be Herb Lusk. Trying to get to the outside, cannot get much. Maybe a yard. Brad Van Pelt got tangled up with him.
Okay, you're looking at your basic football play in rainy weather. It's Wade Key, number 72, getting out in front. Good pursuit by Mendenhall and company. We've said it before, Van Pelt is a load. He is really a fine, strong young linebacker. I remember when he got the Maxwell Award one year, I thought he was too pretty to play in this league.
And too big to be a safety man, which he was in college. 3rd down situation for the Eagles. They don't get the first. Brian Kelly, the Giant tackler on Mike Hogan. So Spike Jones, the kicker, will make his appearance, his first in the 2nd half. We have 10:25 left to play in the 3rd period. It's still Philadelphia 21, the Giants 7.
You'd like to have had that field goal up there now if you were a Giant person.
Sure would.
You?
Jones standing at about the 1-yard line. Bobby Hammond deep for the Giants. Hammond fields at the 47 and tries to get around to the outside. Can't do it. I beg your pardon, Cleveland Franklin was one of the tacklers. The other was Vince Papali. 21-7. The Eagles over the Giants in the 3rd quarter in the rain at Giant Stadium.
5 on the 50-yard line!
Hey, Charlie, it was cold last night. You put in the Prestone antifreeze?
Prestone. Who needs Prestone?
Prestone? You need Prestone.
If your antifreeze is worn out or you don't have enough, you could be in trouble. So put in a fresh fill of Prestone, too, to prevent corrosion and freeze-ups.
Prestone. We need
Prestone. Prestone. You need Prestone.
For the millions of people who need a full-size car, introducing the 1978 Ford LTD. If you need 6-passenger space, if you need a roomy trunk, If you want mileage like this, then the full-size 1978 Ford LTD could be just the car for you. LTD, a better idea from Ford.
CBS Sports Spectacular next week, next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. Features the Jockey Club Gold Cup, the Chinichi Cup, and the World's Strongest Men. Giant first down at the Eagle 47-yard line. 1st and 10. Zonka gets the call and sort of leans in. Maybe a couple. John Bunting and a bunch of other men in green and white made the tackle on Larry Zonka.
Boy, Charlie Johnson, that rookie at nose guard, really played that beautifully. He just stood hill up the center, shook him a little bit, and then went over and hit Zonka. And in the old days, Zonka would get 3.5 or 4 yards on that. Of course, Charlie Johnson is still weighing about 257. It's not easy to drag him around.
Boy, he gets almost to the point where he touches helmets with Ralph Hill. Zonka and Hammond, the running backs, but Pisarcik throws to the outside. Ed Marshall gets it and is herded out of bounds by John Outlaw right at the 40.
I tell you, Pisarcik is throwing the football with a lot more confidence. You know, he's only had some action against Atlanta, a little bit against Dallas. He's really considered a rookie out of sort of Canada by way of Las Cruces, New Mexico in college. And I'll tell you, he's throwing the ball very easily and well right now.
He had one terrific game in preseason against Buffalo when he really won himself a job on the roster. 3rd and 3 now after that completion to Marshall. Moorhead right and Robinson left. Pisarcik fakes to Zonka. Throws over the head of Hammond. And it'll be a 4th down situation coming up and a punting situation for Dave Jennings and group. Larry Marshall, the NFC's leading punt returner, goes back deep for Philadelphia.
Pisarcik was dumped that time by Sistrunk and Hairston, and that's the only time a quarterback knows it's really wet. It's when he's thrown down on the pad and his back is pretty much saturated.
Dave Jennings averaging 41 yards on 3 punts today. Marshall and Martin Mitchell deep for the Eagles. Marshall will watch it go over his head and watch it almost go out of bounds inside the 1. It just rolled into the end zone, and Jennings looking down in that area.
Looks like he just dropped a wedge shot into a bunker, doesn't he?
Logan's Run tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central and Mountain Time. That's a new time for Logan's Run.
You seen that show? That's nothing but laser beams at 25 paces. That's wild.
All the impact of Star Wars, they say. Terrific.
Good guys and the bad guys.
Yep. 1st down, Philadelphia. Still Hogan and Lusk behind Jaworski. Handoff, fumble. I believe Archer got it. I believe Troy Archer made the recovery, number 77. He did.
Uniforms and everything are all wet. There's Guy Morris going on Carson. You can see Archer is having a job with Wade Key. Here's the ball off the hip. And Lusk is already looking for it. Boy, that must be the world's worst feeling, unless you're falling on it like number 77.
So the Giants have it at the Eagle 18. They trailed 21-7. 9 minutes, 4 seconds left, 3rd period. Hammond gets the call, and Hammond gets down to about the 10. 170-pound Bobby Hammond, stopped by Frank LeMaster.
Eagles had 1 fumble in 6 preseason games, and you are watching their 10th, that one before, and they've lost 7. Here's the little guy, as I said, in the wet uniform and all. They can really be treacherous. Good run.
Willie Spencer, number 27, is checked in as a running back for the Giants now, along with Bobby Hammond. It is 2nd down and 2 at the 11 of Philadelphia. Hammond again. I believe he's got the 1st down. John Sanders made the tackle. It is Giant 1st down.
Now the big nose guard playing for Philadelphia, Charlie Johnson, suddenly has gotten to where he's looking around a lot, and he's standing up. The last 2 plays, he's watched Hammond come right through the pipe.
He started to come out and then went back. This is Johnson we're talking about. This is quarterback Joe Pisarcik. On first down, Hammond again. This time he does not break the tackle of Bill Berge. First and goal at the 7. And now it's back to about the 8.5, where it'll be second down. And again, the Giants shuttle those wide receivers to bring plays to Pisarcik. This time it's Emery Moorhead, number 80.
Where did Berge come from that time? He shot that gap. He must have keyed John Hicks, the guard, and came when he saw him trying to move on the block.
Second down. Hammond from the 9. Goes down, gets back up, and gets to about the 6. Tom Ehlers made the tackle.
Great play by John Bunning. Stopped that from really maybe being a touchdown. Van Horn had a pretty good block on him. Watch the right part of your screen now. And this is from a really just a run-oriented system. Good block there. Now watch number 95 take the block and really throw the fast running back off stride, or he could have maybe gone over that top of that pile.
Ehlers was number 59 who made sure. Third and goal, the ball at the 6. Pisarcik is going to throw. Looking and throwing. Intended for Tucker. And now we get the field goal unit.
All right, Johnny Sanders right there, number 26. He covers the official for a moment. Now he looks for that in, coming across, and he'll find Tucker. Watch this good play by Sanders. It's almost like a baseline drive in the NBA, right?
Joe Danilo. The last time in a situation similar, the Giants did not go for the field goal. This time it looks like they will. Larry Mallory holding for Danilo, and it's good. That makes it Philadelphia 21, and the Giants now 10. 6 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Joe Danilo's field goal gets New York's total up to 10.
The closer you shave, boy.
The closer you shave, boy.
The more you will need.
The more you will need.
Great balls of comfort.
Great balls of comfort.
To do it with ease.
Great balls of comfort.
Oh, just like Noxzema.
Noxzema.
Premier.
Great balls of comfort to you.
The closer you shave, the more you need soothing, medicated Noxzema.
Great balls of comfort to you. Woo!
To get ahead these days, you got to keep on your toes. So I've got something to keep my competition flat-footed. Sunoco's penny pinching pump. It has 190, the gas that's made to sell below my regular, and 220, the gas that sells below my premium. So if your car runs on regular or premium, my pump could save you money on quality gas. Listen, if I don't want you to go right by me, I got to do right by you.
Sunoco's penny pinching pump can fill up your tank for less. That's my way of being very friendly.
Larry Marshall and Wilbert Montgomery deep for the Eagles. It's going to be Montgomery. Ball is loose. Giants got it, I think. Yes. Giants take it over at the Eagle 34. Watch the coverage.
Watch Dvorak now, number 66. And don't think you don't have to play on special teams, because Montgomery is really socked and the ball comes out. Watch number 66. And there it is. Darn if he doesn't come up with it. That hog bladder's very valuable right now.
Giants have a 1st and 10 at the Eagle 33. They trail 21-10. Bobby Hammond gets the call again. Does not get back to the line of scrimmage. Bill Berge, one of the tacklers, along with John Bunning. Watch Berge.
All right, here he is. He made 18 tackles, initial hits they call him. He sifts his way through, and he and Charlie Johnson, the nose man, are eagerly going after, I think, a very dangerous runner, young Hammond.
Herman Edwards, number 46, also got a piece of the tackle. So it'll be 2nd and 11. The ball at the 34 now. And Pisarcik in a situation where he almost has to throw. That's a strange formation. He throws out to Hammond with room. Inside the 30, John Sanders. I had not seen that alignment before.
Well, John Sanders comes up, and instead of faking the safety blitz, see him right there in the center of your screen, he comes, and now he's picked up. Giants handle it. Somehow, when the flip to Hammond takes place, the safety man gets back into it. Pretty good recovery by the Eagle defense, and a very, very dangerous call down there by giving it away so early. Well, I'll tell you, Sanders did a heck of a job.
So it'll be 3rd down. Here's the blitz. They get by 1. They get by 2. He almost got by Manny Sistrunk, but not quite. Berge came up again to make sure. He perhaps got close enough for Danilo. Pisarcik might be shaken just a little bit.
He took a pretty good shot in the kidneys. It was just a hip move, I think fairly legal by the middle linebacker. Let's just see what happens on it. I tell you, more trains go by him on this. This is the safety man Logan going by on the blitz. Here's one shot. And now Sistrunk and now Berge and company come in and just hit him a shot. A good one.
This will be from 47 yards out by Danilo. Plenty of distance. It is wide to the right. Danilo got it far enough, but not straight enough.
Pat, you kicked your 49-yarder or whatever it was in a snowstorm off a regular field. Do you remember your foot slipping or anything, or do you remember it?
I don't remember anything.
Connerly doesn't either, does he?
No.
He told you had no chance of making
That's
it anyway.
Right. He said go back and sit down. First down, Philadelphia. They got the ball at their own 30. Jaworski still the quarterback. Here's Herb Lusk. Pitch back to Lusk, who gets good yardage and might be gone. Clyde Powers is the only guy who has a shot. Herb Lusk, 70-yard touchdown run. You know what he's doing right now? Praying.
Well, Brian Kelly, that's right. As we've said, he's a pretty solid young citizen. Now watch as Gregory plays the play out very well, but Archer gets cut off. A good block on Brian Kelly, which he claimed was a clip from the outside, a crackback clip. There are no flags, however, and I guarantee you the young man from Long Beach State is gone.
Now watch him. Thank you.
And that's no hot shot spike. That's just a pretty serious young person.
That's right. Herb Lusk, a 70-yard touchdown run, makes it 27-10. Horst Muhlman trying to make it 28. And does with Roman Gabriel holding. 28-10 now. You know, you think back to the opportunities that the Giants had at the other end of the field a minute ago and came away with just 3 points. On the Sports Spectacular next Saturday, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Our friend Jack Whitaker will be there. The Chinichi Cup with Nellie Kim of the Soviet Union and Nadia Comaneci.
No, it's worth it just to see Nadia again, isn't it?
Just breathtaking. And not quite so breathtaking as the world's strongest men competition.
They're not too long, but they are strong. You ever seen so many bulky bodies in your life?
Gosh. They're doing the wrist roll next week. And later on, they'll have the tire throw and the refrigerator pull. They've had the barrel lift already. Horst Muhlman, excuse me.
Lusk has 94 yards now. Obviously, that last one was the big one.
70 of them. Emery Moorhead back with Gordon Bell. But it won't get that far. That's Gary Shirk again, the tight end, the backup tight end. Out to in the neighborhood of the 40. He stopped by Eric Johnson. The Philadelphia scoring drive. Some drive, huh? One play, 70 yards, 12 seconds it took him to go 70 yards.
Patrick, I was talking to Jerry Sizemore, and I just said, is the wet artificial surface tough for you guys on traction? And it has to do with Lusk making the long run look so easy. And he said, no, with the new shoes, A wet AstroTurf, especially a new one like here at Giant Stadium, is just like running on a good tennis court in warm weather.
Herb Lusk certainly didn't have any problem with it, did he? First down, Pisarcik back in. He fakes to Zonka and fires. Moorhead could not hold on. A wet, heavy ball is awfully hard to catch unless you get it in close to the body.
I'm telling you, Pisarcik really hummed that one, too. He's 3/4, but he throws a heavy-looking ball when it's not wet.
There are those shoes you were talking about with that improved traction.
Gosh, I used to wear those kind of things for strolling, and they're wearing those to play in?
They make you feel like you're going forward all the time.
That and a bottle of wine, right?
That makes you feel like you're going backward. The Sarchek overthrow. John Outlaw, the cover for the Philadelphia Eagles, who lead 28-10. The Sarchek now 8 out of 22 for 144 yards. The New York Jets under ex-Eagle assistant Walt Michaels leading Buffalo 17-7.
Got a crazy score here, too. Miami 21, Baltimore 10 in the second period. Don Shula has to be one of the great coaches. Win, lose, or draw.
That's right. Terrific rebuilding job he's done. Like Jerry Goldstein might be loosening up behind the Giant bench as Pisarcik. Flag is down. Outlaw had a chance. It bounced off his hands into the hands of Ed Marshall. Marshall drops back, but there's a flag down about the 35-yard line. John Sanders made the tackle.
Pretty good pass rush by the Eagles, and it looks to me like it could have been in that area of holding, but obviously the Eagles think that, and the Giants say there's no way.
John Outlaw wants to make sure that the officials know what's going on.
Art Toms, number 80, you remember him with the Oakland Raiders, comes storming up the middle with some people, and there might have been some. Logan makes the first shot at it, so it's a legal reception for the Giants if it holds.
Let's see if the reaction here.
Offensive holding, number 52.
The holding is against offensive center Ralph Hill, who was caught 4 times last week for the same violation.
He looks to me like he's undersized to be in there wrestling with the people he's working with.
3rd and 20. Hill is just 6'1", or listed at 6'1". Also listed at 240, but he doesn't look that big. Sarchik again. It blitz is on. Carl Hairston and Randy Logan meet at the quarterback.
And the outside men occupied everybody. Now watch what happens. Toms is coming up the middle. Hill gets double with Hicks, but somebody's clean to the left side. Ooh, that's Hairston. Very quick at about 240, and Sistrunk very strong at about 265.
So Dave Jennings, there is Jerry Goldstein warming up behind the Giant bench. Larry Marshall back in single safety position for Philadelphia. And there's Marshall. Jennings has punted 4 times, averaged 40.5 yards. This one will help that average. At the 37, Marshall takes it. Marshall goes right straight back up the field. About to 47, where the Philadelphia offensive unit will trot onto the field. Al Dixon made the tackle.
And now the pressure, I think, is on the Giant defense. Good series to do it. Still a lot of time. 3 minutes left, at least in the 3rd period. And right now, McVay's team needs a real good defensive series and obviously a turnover if possible.
Eagles lead by 18, 28-10. A 70-yard sprint by Herb Lusk. A big play in it. Last touchdown, of course. And Lusk gets another chance. He got up into Giant territory to about the 49. Harry Carson knocked him down.